We got breaking news out of the New Orleans Saints. The Who Dat Nation, who that said they're gonna beat them Saints. Well, if they don't have a quarterback, it's gonna be a lot of people in 2025, and they may be picking number one next year in the 2026 NFL draft. It's the flex zone. Yours truly, God's favorite host, a little in between the zone, NFL free agency edition here on your Saturday, May 10th, 2025. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms, aunts, godmoms, grandmoms, big sisters, cousins, all those. Happy Mother's Day to you all. Make sure you guys strip sack that subscribe button. Leave us a thumbs up. Tackle that thumbs up. Let's push this out to the recommended. And blitz that bell to know when all the content drops. And as always, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on Derek Carr. Let me know your thoughts on the future of the Saints in their quarterback position. And if you want, leave an emoji. We are friendly people here in the Flex Zone, and we're nothing without you, Flex Zone family. Let's get into it. Derek Carr has officially announced his retirement. We have the official statement. We'll read it together as a class from the New Orleans. And here we go. Here is the statement from the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr has announced his retirement in late March while ramping up his preparation for the 2025 season. Derek Carr experienced pain in his right shoulder. It was his first time throwing a football at significant value since recovering from both a concussion and left hand injury sustained during play on December 8th, 2024. That game was against the New York Football Giants. Derek immediately contacted the Saints medical team. Eventually, medical scans determined objectively that Derek sustained a labral tear and also has significant degenerative changes to his rotator cuff. Since that time, Derek, his representation, the Saints medical team, and outside medical experts have worked together to determine the best path forward. Surgery was an option, jeopardizing the entire 2025 season, yet there was no guarantee that Derek would return to the level of strength, function, and performance of play to which he was accustomed. Upon consultation with his wife Heather, Derek has decided it is the best interest of both his family and the Saints organization to retire from the National Football League. And I quote, this is from Derek Carr himself upon reflection of prayer and in discussion with Heather, his wife. I've decided to retire from the National Football League, said Carr. For more than 11 years, we have been incredibly blessed and we are forever grateful and humbled by this experience. It's difficult to find the right words to express our thanks to all the teammates, coaches, management, ownership, team officials, and especially the fans who made this journey so special. Your unwavering support has meant the world to us. Derek Carr, he was not the greatest quarterback, but he wasn't the worst quarterback. He was kind of in the middle of the pack. You could win games with him. He was a good leader, I think. He was what you wanted in your quarterback, a fiery guy, big arm, but he also would have the big turnovers or make the big mistake, or in this case, unfortunately, have the big injury. And then this one doomed him and his career. Now, Carr went and signed with the New Orleans Saints in 2023. Now, remember, he was a second round pick in 2014 by the then Oakland Raiders. 9 seasons with the Raiders. Then he was in 2023. Like I said, he signed a 4-year deal worth up to $150 million with the New Orleans Saints. He's 34 years of age, started 169 games, 77 and 92 record as a starter, completed 61.5% of his passes, 41,245 yards, 257 touchdowns, and 112 interceptions. So those are Derek Carr's career numbers as well. The Saints quarterback room now includes 2025 second round pick, what he just took, Tyler Shuck, and 2024 fifth round pick Spencer Rattler, who started some games last year, and 2023 fourth round pick Jake Hayner, who I believe played as well. We knew in early April that he could miss the season, so a lot of us thought, hey, maybe they will draft the Shador Sanders. I thought they would. They passed on him like everybody else multiple times. They didn't take Dylan Gabriel. They didn't take Jalen Milroe. They took Tyler Shuck. Now, Shuck has played a lot of football. He is a little older. He has battled some injuries. He is known to be a turnover caliber guy as well. Maybe in a way kind of compares to Derek Carr. Big arm, can make throws, but also make the turnovers that'll cost you. And when you get to the National Football League, you can't turn the ball over at the quarterback position. You can't turn the ball over at any position, but especially at the quarterback position, because when you turn the ball over at the quarterback position, your team will not be able to overcome that. I don't care how great you are. I don't care how many yards you can throw for. I don't care how strong your arm is. If you consistently turn the ball over, especially in crucial situations, you will fail. Now, with that said, I don't really have much faith in Spencer Rattler. I don't have faith in Jake Hayner. And Tyler Shuck is an unknown. I haven't watched a lot of him, to be honest. I know he was at Louisville this past year. Like I said, I know he has a big arm. Probably not the most athletic guy. He's not going to be running around back there. So, like I said, maybe he compares a little bit to the Derek Carr type, big arm, can make the throws, but also make the turnovers that'll drive you crazy as a coach. We know Kellen Moore is down there. He's the new head coach, so we're going to see what type of offense they bring. We're going to look at the depth chart as well and go over some of the weapons because I think the Saints could be picking in the top 5 next year for sure. And that's the problem with the Saints. They are middle of the road. They are a memoir of mediocrity. You know, they win 7, 8 games, 9 games a year. They're not bad enough or worse enough to be the top 5 pick, get the number 1 pick. They're kind of in that 12 to 15 range. Yeah, they make it a decent player, but the best quarterbacks are usually already off the board. And then we do goofy stuff like pass on Shador and pass on others who maybe could have helped, like Jackson Dart, even. This is the situation you find yourself in. And like I said, we're going to take a look at the depth chart. But now, do you go get an Aaron Rodgers maybe for 1 year with Kellen Moore to try to compete, and then maybe go next year and have these guys learn under, like I said, Aaron Rodgers for a year, Tyler Shuck, if you want him to be the guy, because you took him in the second round. So obviously you think very highly of him. If you took him over Shador, Milrow, Dart, whoever else you want to put in there, Dylan Gabriel, Quinn Ewers, all these quarterbacks that were drafted, you clearly want to see what he can bring to the table. So maybe they don't go get Aaron Rodgers. Maybe they just throw the rookie right in there, or they start with Rattler. Rattler fails, then they can bring in Shuck after a few games. I still think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Steeler, but don't rule out potentially maybe the Saints because now Aaron Rodgers can kind of create a bidding war of the demand is there because teams need a quarterback. The Steelers, I know they Mason Rudolph and Will Howard, but they could use Aaron Rodgers and the Saints. Now with Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler, they could use Aaron Rodgers also. So this could be a nice negotiating tactic for Aaron Rodgers because he is winning for waiting because now he can drive up the price on both teams. And we know the Saints, they are always in cap hell. They have a credit card mentality. And honestly, like I said, they're never bad enough to be number one, and they're never good enough to win like they used to in the playoffs with Sean Payton and Drew Brees. Now, I do think they could be one of the worst teams next year. Do they go get an Arch Manning if he comes out in 2026? Which I think he'll stay. But could history repeat itself and they get another Manning maybe in the draft in a couple of years? That could happen. Or do they go get Drew Aller out of Penn State, who is right now probably the number 1 quarterback in 2026? I don't know. I'm glad that I don't have those problems, Who Dat Nation, because y'all are. I know y'all was wilding out. I saw some of y'all reactions to the Tyler Shuck pick. Y'all are not happy down there. Y'all already not happy because y'all not winning, let alone with some of the decisions that were made in this draft. Offensively, they got my boy Chris Olave, hell of a player from the Ohio State wide receiver factory there in Columbus. He's a really good player. He's probably a number 1 receiver. Brandon Cook home. Let's see what he has left in the tank. He can stretch the field. Rashid Shaheed, he can stretch the field. Calvin Banks, I love him at left tackle potentially, but he is a rookie. Left guard, I do have an issue with. Eric McCoy is good at center. Cesar Ruiz good at right guard. Right tackle, I have a little concern about also. So the offensive line is a little shaky to me. Got some good pieces, but they are a little shaky. And the weapons on the outside of Olave, like I said, I don't know what Brandon Cooks has left in the tank. Rashid Shaheed, he may make a big play here and there, but then he may drop an easy pass, or you may not see him for a game. Calvin Banks is a rookie at left tackle. They got Cedric Wilson out of Miami. So they have some guys, Foster Moreau, Jawan Johnson. No, nobody they do have the wild. I know Kellen Moore will use the wild card, the Swiss Army knife, Taysom Hill well. So he is a playmaker as well. And you got Alvin Kamara. However much left he got left in New Orleans, but you got something there on offense. You got something. It's not the worst offense. And quarterback play is going to be very, very essential because a good quarterback can elevate this offense from mediocre to good. And like I said, Kellen Moore is an offensive guy. Kellen Moore does call up good offensive plays. I think he will use Alvin Kamara. I think he will get the ball to Olave. He will use those deep shots to Rashid, Shaheed, Brandon Cooks, use Cedric Wilson on the jet sweep screens. And like I said, the offensive line, though, obviously the quarterback play, but the offensive line, they got to hold up as well because if Shuck or Rattler or Aaron Rodgers or whomever is under center and they're running for their life, it doesn't matter who is the quarterback. Now, defense, they've lost a lot. They've lost a lot on defense. Cam Jordan is still there. We don't know how much long he got left in the tank. Chase Young, he isn't as inconsistent as they come sometimes. Um, yeah, Justin Reed is there. And I'm not. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. How much long does he have left in the tank? They don't really have any corners. I mean, I like Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's going to have a breakout year. He probably could be the breakout player on defense for them. He had over 40 tackles as a rookie out of Alabama. We loved him. Did a draft profile on him 2 years ago. I mean, like I said, outside of Kool-Aid, Cam Jordan is still there. I guess Chase Young. They got Demario Davis. I can't sleep on Demario Davis. Maybe the most underrated middle linebacker in the league. He's very good. He's a tackling machine. But like I said, the Honey Badger, how much does he have left in the tank? Justin Reed, how much does he have left in the tank? Like I said, who is consistently going to put pressure on the quarterback outside of some of these guys? I do like Carl Grandison. He's underrated as well. But defensively, they could give up some big plays because I don't trust their corners outside of Kool-Aid. Because Isaac, yeah, Yiadom, I don't trust him. Justin Reed, would go and get him if he was indeed what he used to be. Because they would have been out of New Orleans probably a while ago, and they probably could have got a lot for him trade wise. Special team, Big Krupp, I don't really know how good he is as a kicker. So I mean, we'll see the schedule this week for the Saints, but would it surprise me if they're picking number one next season? No. Would it surprise me if they're picking top five next season? No, because I think they will be, just off of projections right now after the draft and looking ahead at the depth chart. But you're playing the NFC South. We know the Buccaneers are going to be in the mix. They won the division back-to-back years. They're probably still the class of the division. I do think that the Carolina Panthers are going to take a big jump this year, and I do think that the Atlanta Falcons are going to take a little bit of a jump. I think they got better. And Michael Penix, if he's who we think he can be, they will be right there as well. Bryce Young, I think he will continue to get better. They had a really good draft, in my opinion, getting T-Mac for him in the first round. They will be better. And Baker in New Orleans, I mean, Baker in Tampa, it's just been like a hand in glove fit. Him and Todd Bowles with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, they get in Mecca Egbuka, they're gonna score a lot of points. They're probably still my favorite to win the South. Like I said, I think Carolina will be better, and I think the Falcons will be better as well. So that, in my opinion, leaves the Saints as a distant fourth. Like I said, I don't see them winning maybe more than 6 games next year. I could see like a 6-11. 5-12. And if things really go off the rails and they start throwing pieces away or trading them away or getting rid of guys, could they be 3-14, 4-13? Could we see the paper bags, the trash bags over people's head with the Aints while they try to get the next possible Manning to to save the franchise? But you guys let me know what you think about that. Like I said, the offense, middle of the pack, defense, I think they're going to get gashed. They're going to give up a lot of plays, in my opinion, because I don't think they have maybe but one or two guys who are really get after the quarterback, one corner, safeties who are a little longer in the tooth, maybe on their last leg. Could they be trade candidates, like I said? Like I said, I think this defense could potentially get gashed in the run, but give up a lot of big plays in the pass as well. And I also think that potentially, if the offensive line can't hold up, it's young, has some good players, but the retirement of Frank Ragnow, now Derek Carr, two big retirements, your starting tackle and your starting quarterback. So if this line is got whoever the quarterback is, insert quarterback running for their life, this offense is going to have a lot of 3-and-outs or drives that don't end in points. And then your defense is going to be on the field much more. And then your defense, which isn't a young defense, it's a lot older and has a lot of inexperienced guys too that are stepping into big roles this year for the first time. And guys like Kool-Aid, who I think will take a big step, he's the only guy you got on the secondary back end because Tyrann Mathieu ain't running with guys like he used to. Justin Reed ain't running with guys like he used to. So you got one guy back there that can run and move. and they're better closer to the line of scrimmage. So I don't know. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell. Let me know your thoughts down below on the Derek Carr retirement. How does the team move? Do they get the number one pick next year? Do they get their quarterback that they want? Maybe Drew Aller, maybe Arch Manning. Maybe that's how it's setting up. That would be poetic justice to say the least. But leave a comment. I want to hear from you in the comment section. We'll see you later for Backlash tonight. God's favorite signing off. Little in between the zone on your Saturday afternoons. Happy Mother's Day again. Let me know your thoughts on the Derek Carr retirement, and we'll see you tonight with Backlash.